Well, the Lagos state government, southwest Nigeria, says Jankara, Bombata and Pelewura markets in Lagos Island will be fully demolished to allow for urban regeneration of the area. Now, reports gathered said that Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu spoke when he inspected some drainage channels on the island. Now, you heard excerpts from his speech there just before we took that break. Now, during the inspection, Governor Sanwo-Olu said, we have come here on a drainage and regeneration call. The entire stretch of Idumagbo Avenue is always flooded during the rainy season because of human activities, especially from the markets around the area. They have built on the canals and so prevented the free flow of water. So we need to do a total rebuild, hence to allow for a proper regeneration of the Lagos Island. Jankara, Bombata markets have to go. It will be a ground zero. Yeah, a ground zero. Now this does serves as notice. The markets will be cleaned to allow our urban regeneration plans. The design for the new market is ready. We will, however, give adequate notice to those in Pelewura market because it has more traders. But this serves as the first notice. Now, still with me in the studio is Akin Fatunke, chartered accountant, communications consultant, public affairs commentator. All right, so some traders will have to be displaced. Not some, a lot of traders actually will have to be displaced. What do you make of this this move at this time? At this time, I stress that again, at this time.
Moses, what I make of the move, whether at this time, whether yesterday, whether in 2 years' time, whether in 4 years' time, it's still going to be the same in terms of the effect. But some good things that I want to first of all highlight here. I want to commend the governor of Lagos State, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu. I want to also commend the Commissioner for the Environment, my very good friend, and lawyer, perhaps, for taking the bold step for the regeneration. The regeneration means renewal, and you want to now bring the environment to be at par with how it should be, so that the squalor, the hygiene, just mention it, will be a thing of the past. Now, from the revelations of what we had, these are things that make me believe that there must be a supreme being somewhere. God must be somewhere. Let's take Jankara. There is a road that I know. It's called Ojogiwa Street. A lot of human activities, including open selling of condiments and things that we need to eat, happens there. You can only get there with wheelbarrow being wheeled in water that is like a squalor. And I begin to wonder, in 2020 and beyond, it has always been like that. How comes it that Nigeria did not, as predicted, be a graveyard on COVID-19? There must still be something about the Nigerian corporal and the Nigerian spirit that is beyond them. Better that we should do it yesterday. If it's not done yesterday, we should do it today, and we should try and do it well. I am glad that I saw Mr. Governor speak to what he needed to speak to. What I am not sure is the kind of communication that has been ongoing. I want to believe, I am assuming there must have been communication all this while. What you are doing cleanliness, it's next to godliness. You need to do certain things and you know, ancillary activities. And I can tell you for free that it will go into the right ear of the people and come out of the left ear. They will not want to believe. Now, what has the local governments been doing? What has been the impact of the market men and women? It tells you, Moses, that governance in Nigeria is just not on.
Now,
It's just not on.
Sorry to interrupt.
The other thing, quickly, let me just say it.
Okay.
The other thing I like to see, which I didn't hear, and Mr. Governor has to come back and let us know, is when you talk about regeneration and that you made it point blank that you are giving notices and stuff like that. I don't think that is enough. When the redesign is done, where will these people be? Are they going to be perpetually displayed?
That's the question I was going to ask.
As we had in Oyigbo, and it will be taken. No, I think a proper census should be taken of these people. How government, who will decide that yes, we are going to take this off you with the left hand, can now begin in good compassion. Consider these people as first option, even if you have to subsidize, they've been near where they are. That is when they will now understand.
Okay,
this whole story started, we may not realize.
Okay, now
at Ladipo and part in Alaba,
has been closed
and it's
down.
now going to
Some of them have been
Pelewura, it's going to Bombata, and it's going to Jankara, going to Bombata and Pelewura. Pelewura. Well, we are now giving a notice and stuff like that, but that notice, in terms of communication, should be such that, so what happens next?
But I think from what the governor has even said, it's not an immediate thing. There will be time given. Now, it's interesting that you brought the Oyigbo example. Tejo Market, there was fire in that market in 2007. Yes, and then government had to bring it down to rebuild. 6 years later, 2013, it was put up again. But then it was a tad too expensive for the initial traders to afford. And how did that go? How did that fare? Because we now saw a situation whereby those that now came on board, had the money. Those that were there before were displaced, and they still had to go to the streets. They still had a situation whereby they had to put their goods close to the railway line to sell. So the idea of building a modern market may have been defeated.
Moses.
Are we going to see the same thing play out here?
I think so, because we have not deeply, I would say we've thought through it, but we have not been compassionate, which is the thing that is at fault. Please go back many, many years to Morocco. Of course, Morocco was displayed. The displacement was horrible, and then the big guns now came in, and then the poor people had to go begging. Go to Awolowo Market just before you get to Mushin, and all that. The same regeneration and trying to put structures in place got in. At that time, I think they even took a census of the people that needed to come. I think maybe it was just for the optics. Because when the thing now got regenerated, the kind of money that you will need to come and hire there is beyond the reach of the common. Go to Aswani Market. Aswani Market too suffered exactly the same thing. The idea is that we keep on dissipating energies to displace the poor, forgetting that when you displace the poor and they have nothing else to depend on, we now begin to have some of the social miscreants and so many other things that we have today. So, is history going to repeat itself? I hope we have learned from some of the things. Look, I have some terrible tales to tell on Tejo Show. It was glaring that the rich now ganged together, brought in some money, and then they were now going to get some of these poor people, maybe 2 or 3 of you, and stuff like that. And rather than subsidize or bring down the cost, made them to go pay at a rate they will not be able to pay. How then will you now then say you will not have them spill over? Even before that, you see the railway crossing before the people are back at Awolowo. The people are back at Oigbo. The people are back. So work done is like zero. We need to begin to now look at it much more critically. That if I have to displace you, I can give you some training in modernity. I can give you, and that is the work of the local government, which unfortunately we are not operating.
Now,
so we need to be able to now put that together and make sure, like Mrs. Dr. Edu is saying, it is going to be transparent. It's going to be open. We are going to publish them. We are going to take a data print of all the people legitimate. If you are legitimate, come out. Why are you on the road? Why are you doing what you are doing? You put your name down, and when this thing is properly done, you are properly numbered to say that from here, from now, these are the things you are going to be doing. These are the levies you are going to be paying. It's going to be a win-win situation. Everybody goes happy. But situations where these people don't even know where they are going to get their next meal, do you know one of the things that can happen? It happened to my own experience when they knew during Fashola's time, and we said, look, the railway sidings in Apapa, we needed to put all those things together and clear all the illegal bunkers and stuff like that. One of them, because I used to give calendars. Calendars. Moses, calendars. That guy felt I was a god. No, this is not about me. And then he called me one day and said, look, all these things that two people are doing is good though. You smile in the morning, but at night you begin to see so many other things that will come. In fact, your entity, at that time I used to work in Mobile Honor in Nigeria. I said, look, we are the ones guiding all of this place. Before you know what is happening, if you keep on treating us the way you are treating us, you just come early in the morning and you see that the whole place is on fire. They have the capacity to inflict that kind of damage on the rich and the established if we don't take care of them. And I thanked him. I went to the ballet of my area, Marine Beach. We got into a stakeholder situation, and we agreed on specific timelines on how they should be, getting out of it. We spoke to Fashola, and we all agreed that, look, these are some of the things like Nigerian Railway Corporation, Lagos State Government, the Apapa local government, all got themselves together, even started to take some of their children to school. My point is the journey of a decathlon requires that we begin to take things right, step by step, communicate it well. After you have done all you need to do, Moses, do you know what happened? You now find that there are citizens who will never be able to be abiding. That is when you now need to now apply
with the iron stick,
the big stick, and it's going to work. In the UK, in the US, elsewhere, anywhere in the world, is the same thing. But start with a good example, good communication.
So in this regard now, in light of putting things in place, the governor is saying it's going to be ground zero, meaning everything will come down and then be rebuilt, meaning everybody will leave the area completely. And one of the reasons for this is the fact that kiosks were built on drainage channels. Now we've been asking the question, what is the local government doing? The market has an administrator or has an administration. What were they doing? Didn't they allow for this to happen? Now these traders will have to be thrown out. Should government really bring it to ground zero before rebuilding? Can't it be built in phases?
Moses, sometimes they say common sense is not common. And I always wonder, because we are born with common sense, And you should know that if you put your hand in fire, it's going to burn you. You don't teach a small child too overtly not to go near the fire. Naturally, from experience, it tells that small child that he should not do. But what we have been doing as people is we know these things are wrong. Willy-nilly, we just go ahead and do it. We just started by asking. Oh, so over the years, who has been putting these people in there? These people, even the way they are paying. Some people are paying, tickets and stuff like that, and it's been going into the wrong pockets. Like subsidy that we are talking about. All of us knew that we are doing Alibaba and the 40 Thieves. Alibaba is the leader, it's a bad thief. But the other 40 thieves, you can't tell me that part of those 40 thieves will be smarter than Alibaba himself and will continue to regenerate themselves. So what did we need to do? Moses, you are aware of what happened at Oshodi. When Ambode decided that he wanted to build the park and what have you, plucked those traders under the bridge and relocated them to Arena. When something similar was going to happen in central Lagos, the Kappa dealers and what have you, government knew and they did the right thing and took them to satellite. So we know, and that's why I'm saying, again, I'm wondering, I'm really wondering, what can be done is that you can do a regeneration quite right, fine. Look at the land areas that we have all over the place. By taking them there, you are even increasing the IGR of the state. Look, Moses, maybe it is in the blueprint, but I don't know, you don't know, and that is why my friend, the information commissioner and stuff like that, and Lagos state government needs to talk and talk and talk about it. Yes, you could want to take them there and they want to resist. There was a lot of resistance until they now started making a lot of GDPs around there. How did Alaba come to be during Jakonde's time? We know these kind of things can be done. And you can juggle your ball with two hands. Not take it away, take away. Talking about Ground Zero. Ground Zero should have been maybe last year, maybe year before. Now you have decided that, okay, like, we are going to now then try to do it. Can we do a relocation plan for genuine persons as much as you can in highly subsidized, that you are going to continue to give them their means of livelihood? They will have their voters card, they have their TIN, and tax identification numbers. You use the opportunity to now then begin to do a data print of the poorest of the poor. It's an opportunity that we should be able to grab and not necessarily wham, bam. So, Mr. Governor, Mr. Wahab, great job, great strike. Mr. Motosho, this is now the time that the people that voted for you is a time that is in their naked period. Let's take care of them as much as we can.
All right.
It's going to be an investment that is going to pay us double, triple tomorrow.
All right, then I must say a very big thank you to you, Akin Fatum Care, communication consultant, chartered accountant, and public affairs commentator. We thank you very much, and we do appreciate you for your views and for coming around.
Thank you very much, Moses. Tough times may persist, but tough people do. The people that are going to be displaced, you have local government, you have representatives and stuff like that. You have a right, and the NGOs can rise in your defense. Don't do what is not right to want to get what is right. Let's go through some of this process. And I know Mr. Governor is a listening governor. He was going to listen to you. If certain things are not in place, I can tell you that they will put it in place by communication, stakeholder management, and communication communication, communication.
All right, so those are his final thoughts there. We totally appreciate. Now let's quickly take business before we take this break to come back. Going to the world of business now, the federal government, through the Association of Power Generation Companies, has grown the power capacity of the national grid from 13,000 megawatts recorded a few years ago to about 14,000 megawatts. Now, APGC's Executive Secretary, Dr. Joy Ogaji, while speaking with journalists on the sideline of the Association of Energy Correspondents of Nigeria's 2023 Annual International Strategic Conference last week, Thursday precisely, disclosed that electricity generation capacity to the national grid has increased to almost 14,000 megawatts. Dr. Ogaji explained that the increase was brought about due to the addition of $1.3 billion Niger State-based 700 megawatt Zungeru hydroelectric plant, which came on stream in the second quarter of this year. Away from that business story to another one very, very quickly. Sequel to the reduction in the cement price of Boa Cement PLC, stakeholders in the building industry have canvassed for a reduction in the prices of other building materials to bridge the affordability gap in the sector. Other construction materials include iron, steel, and roofing sheets, amongst others. Now, the Chief Executive Officer, Land Republic Limited, Victor Adigbile, made this call during the allocation of Premier City in Ayelagbe, Moniya, Ishayin, Ibadan. All right, so those are the business stories we have. We'll take a break now. When we come back, we'll get into entertainment and sports. Stay with us.